Welcome back to the second attempt at episode 33 of the Pariah podcast. We've been facing some technical difficulties. That's why there wasn't an episode last week. We did record one for y'all, but it is now in the abyss. Nonetheless, football moves forward. So do we. We are here. We are back. Now that the group stage has concluded for the Euros and almost the second round of group games for the Copa America, there's a lot to discuss. It's honestly, I don't know if you're feeling the same way, Faris. It's been like an overwhelming amount of football.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot of games,
Yeah, to the
a lot
point
of
where
narratives.
exactly. Like I thought coming into this summer, I would be thirsty for football, and like I'd watch every game, at least the ones I care about in each time slot. Now I'm finding myself like,
Tired.
maybe I need a break a little bit, which is crazy to say because it's supposed to be all fun and games. But look, the group stage delivered, in my opinion. I know it's been controversial a little bit. Some people are saying this is like the worst Euros ever. Some people are saying it's better than World Cup 2022.
I think England's group had a lot to do with how people felt about the entire tournament. It kind of swayed.
Yeah, no, I think England in general kind of set the narrative for at least what we see, right? Like we're fans of Premier League clubs. The guys we see takes from are mostly watching the Prem, likely supporting England. And if you're an England fan, it hasn't been the tournament for you so far, which is crazy to say because they're through and
top of their group.
But like, let's start there, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of hoopla in the media about England. I think a lot of doom and gloom. You see players like Lineker, you see players like Ian Wright, you see players like Scholes completely losing it on their socials, on the shows that they do punditry on. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yes, they're not playing the best, but are you making this something bigger than it needs to be, right? In the group, they lost they drew 2 games, won 1 game in a group that on paper doesn't seem like England should be drawing 2 games. But look, I don't know if the argument here is like England made these teams look good. These teams looked good. Slovenia looked like a competent footballing nation, right? Denmark looks solid. Serbia is the one that's like regrettable, in my opinion, right? Like Serbia's not the greatest team ever. They didn't, tear them apart like they should have. But I don't know. I think
like I've listened to all the comments, Lineker, Shearer, all those guys, like Gary Neville, Carragher, all them. I think it's a normal English thing to be hypercritical about their own team.
Bro.
Their media loves talking about themselves and like fixating on really minor things, but the gist of what they've been saying is fine with me. Like I agree with them. I didn't think the performances were good in any of the 3 games.
I don't think
like 20-minute spells here and there.
There's been a couple takes that I personally, I don't know how I feel about. But I agree with you. It's more the amount of chatter than what's being said, right? I think in general, like the feedback this team is receiving is fair. I think the criticism is fair. They're not playing lights out. But it's like, you'd agree with me here, right? Like the overall sense of this England team is doom and gloom right now. And I don't know if that's helpful when you're top of your group. Like you look at that Euro that Portugal won. I don't think at any stage of that tournament, Portugal were a feared team. Like they were good, of course, but right, they weren't beating every team 4-0, 5-0. You didn't see, at least I didn't see, Portuguese media putting that team down. What I saw was everyone rallying behind Ronaldo and his team, right? And I think England could really use that. Instead, the most powerful thing they have, which is...
I mentioned this before, and there's just some guy just tweeted this like years ago. I forgot what World Cup or Euros it was, but he was like the most sought after player or the most like wanted player is the unused England substitute.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
All the pundits and all the fans are always like, he should have played or he should have done
what
this.
If.
They'll never be like a complete agreement on that was the right thing or that was the wrong thing. And we're seeing that with, the Trent and Gallagher thing going on. Now a little bit of the Bukayo Saka, Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
like everyone just thinks that the guy that's not playing is the solution. And
Yeah.
all we're asking for is just how about they both play? How about we see him a little sooner? Like it's just small things like that that's like bothering me. But yeah, the
And,
Saka Palmer thing was a little funny. I'm not gonna lie. I took
and
that
for
one.
once, I don't even think it's on Southgate like that. I think people are making it a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Like I thought, look, rivalry aside, I think Cole Palmer looked great when he came on in that last game. Like I thought he looked really good. He had probably the two most incisive passes I saw that entire half. Um, every moment he gets the ball, you could tell he's trying really hard not to waste possession, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is something I'm not seeing a lot of from the other England forwards. Maybe that has to do with the fact that he's not getting game time, right? When you get
But
subbed
same
on,
with Anthony Gordon and Mainu. Like those guys, like they were giving scraps, and they're like, okay, once I get the ball, I just have to be direct.
yeah,
Like all we want is them to just get on a little sooner. Like no one wants you to change the
exactly.
starting lineup.
And I think the thing that has like really blown this Saka Palmer thing out of proportion is Ian Wright
Yeah.
suggesting that Saka go back to left back. And I think, look, I
He
love Ian
didn't even
Wright.
say it in like the worst. Like if you hear the whole context, it's not like a Twitter thing where it's like, oh, Saka left back. But obviously people like fed into that like clip
Oh, of
of
course,
him.
but I think they have a responsibility. Wright's been
Mm,
around long enough to know that if you give them something to feed on, they'll feed on it. There is no world where Saka and left back should be in the same sentence after
mm-hmm.
2018, right? Like Ian Wright's not stupid. I think it's just unnecessary conjecture. But I think him even bringing those ideas together is a symptom of these English pundits thinking backwards about the squad selection. You don't need every big name on the pitch. It's
Yeah,
okay
that's a
if
great point,
Palmer
honestly.
just plays and Bukayo Saka doesn't. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
fine, right? Like you when you have machines like this available to you, you should see them earlier, right? No one needs to be playing 80 minutes, 90 minutes. If you have
Yeah,
that
that's
much
true.
depth in your attack, it's okay to see a halftime sub here and there.
But here's the thing, dude. In this 2024 social media, whatever, it's cringe to say, but like the tribalism is peak.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone just wants their guy playing. Everyone wants their guy starting. And I don't think that this has crept into the camp. Like no one's in like England kind of talking about like, oh, I should play because I did so well for my team. But like the fact
Mhm.
that pundits are talking about this is like really weird. Like we should not have pundits talking about things like this, like, oh, Chelsea season, like he should be starting over, he should be starting. Just
Yeah.
play them more. I don't know what's so tough about that.
It's kind of ridiculous. And like, bro, it didn't matter who was coach,
Mm-hmm.
they'd be complaining. And it there's a theory in my head that like maybe this has always been the problem. Maybe the reason England can never get over the line is themselves in the way
Yeah.
that they don't really encourage success. They don't create this the siege mentality you see from other nations, us against the world. It's almost England against England. It's England
Yeah.
versus how, England how they play versus England how we could have played. It's the most frustrating thing ever. Obviously, we did our group stage predictions. I'll do a separate video where I kind of go through what happened there with those outcomes. But we do now have our bracket, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty exciting. I'll share the window here. One moment. Yeah, here we go.
Time to predict some matches.
Yeah, look, we were way off with a lot of things in the first one to give a quick recap, but
Ukraine.
yeah,
My team.
Ukraine. I don't know. Okay, first things first. Let's give like a round of applause to all the teams here that shouldn't have been here. I see namely Slovenia, Georgia, Austria, Turkey, even Slovakia, and definitely Romania, right? That's a lot of teams
Yeah, facts.
who, you'd consider the darkest
Bro, the
horses.
right side of that bracket is
It's
so ugly,
disgusting.
dude.
It's disgusting, bro.
I
This is a
dare
disgrace.
England not to get to that semifinal, man.
It's actually bonkers how well it worked out for them. That
Mm-hmm.
Spain, Germany, Portugal, and France, and I don't want to throw Belgium in that same group, but Belgium are all on one side of the bracket, whereas they have to face Slovakia, who aren't horrible. Then you have Italy, Switzerland, which is probably gonna be the hardest bit about this,
Yeah.
and then you have Romania, Netherlands in the semis, and you're there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
I
want to be
wouldn't. Yeah,
dismissive.
I wouldn't dismiss Austria, dude. They've looked
Dude,
probably
yeah.
one of
So
the better sides on that side.
let's talk about Austria, right? I see a lot of Ralph Ragnick hype.
Yeah,
They played extremely well in the group stage, right? I don't want to minimize that, but it's like I see both sides. I see the side that, hey, you only really need to be good for what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 more games. You've already been good for 3 games. You're halfway there, and you looked very good, so it's possible. But I don't know. Like,
I could see them going to that semifinal, just
I
off
can see them
of
getting there.
yeah.
I
They're
definitely see them getting past Turkey, but I think the Netherlands will be a bit too much in that next
I don't know
round.
because I feel like the Netherlands have been like coached really poor. Like they've
Mm.
been just struggling, but well, not struggling. They've been scoring goals, but like Austria are like drilled, like proper drilled. Even I saw like what's that guy's name? Lothar Matthäus is like, oh, I've never seen Sabitzer play like this in my life, and I'm like, bro, that's crazy to say that.
Yeah, no,
But I mean, yeah,
Sabitzer
they've
had
been hooping.
I had some friends who are a bit more, casual asking me where
Hmm.
Sabitzer plays. I don't think any one of us could have seen that question coming. They look good.
Former
I
Manchester
think I
United.
was a little wrong to dismiss them, but I think let's pick our first round, right? First
Yeah,
round on this right side, I'm going basic as we did in the group stage.
yeah.
There's
Safe,
probably going to
safe
be an
pick.
upset here, but I'm going Netherlands, Austria,
Yeah, on that, I'd
Slovakia.
say it'd be fair to have one upset on either side. So I think we should incorporate that.
Yeah, and I'm picking Slovakia as mine.
Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna do that. I was gonna pick Switzerland over Italy.
I
Although
don't even think that's an
that's
upset.
the yeah that I was gonna say they're pretty close in terms of their current like quality. So maybe that's not
Dude,
the one to pick.
Euro Switzerland is one of the best teams to
Yeah,
ever
that's
grace this
facts. That's
earth.
facts.
Like they just get it done. I genuinely believe there's jeopardy here, like a ton. Like
Hmm.
I
I mean,
let's
if they have creative problems like they have been, then like yeah, Slovenia or Slovakia is not fun.
look. Let's look
And they
at
already faced the other
Slovakia.
two, which is even crazier.
This is the nuttiest group stage. Here we go. They played Romania. They drew with Romania. They beat Belgium and they lost to Ukraine. It doesn't inspire confidence, but this game, I don't know if you watched this game,
Hmm.
but this game showed me what these guys are capable of. And if they get an early goal like they did against Belgium,
Perhaps.
it's a nasty deep block, bro. It's one of the nastiest
Oh
out there.
god.
And I think, look, nervous players going into this first game in the knockouts, England will be vulnerable in that first 10, 15 minutes, and there is jeopardy. Obviously, this is like the contrarian take. England should be
Hmm.
going past this very comfortably, and I almost expect them to, but if I had to pick an upset, it'd be here.
It's fine. I don't see it happening there. I think they will make it past this one.
Yeah,
But I want them to. Genuinely, I don't want to see Slovakia, Italy. That would be awful
that'd be
viewing.
that'd be horrible.
But I don't know who my upset is on that side. I'd stick with Netherlands, Austria, England, Italy. Just to
Okay,
skip through it. If you want to go through them, we
so
can.
okay,
But
as that's most likely, let's stick with those for the next round. But before we do that, let's go to the other side.
yeah.
Spain, Georgia. Spain looked good to me. I have Spain going through. Germany, Denmark. Germany look very good to me.
Hmm.
I feel stronger and stronger about my pick for them winning every single day. Portugal, Slovenia. Obviously, there was a hiccup in that last game of the group, but maybe you could put that down to the job already being done
Yeah,
and
dead
the fact
rubber.
that Georgia needed it so badly, right? Like you play for a team that's hungry against a team that's very well fed, and things like
Mm,
that can happen. But I do want to point out Slovenia is like incredibly good. Like I don't think I expected
really?
them to be as good as they were. Like I think out of all the group stage games and the lower teams, I caught the most Slovenia games. Dude,
That's wild.
they are nice. Like they play nice. So I don't think that'll be a bloodbath or anything like that. It'll be a pretty respectable game. And this last one, I'll let you go. What do you think?
Nah, dude. Belgium look bad, bro.
Belgium
Belgium look
looked
bad.
horrible.
I don't rate like I don't see a Belgium upset here. They look like everyone just looks old. Like this whole crop of like the Lukaku,
KDB
De
looks
Bruyne, like
bad,
they need to call it quits. Like you've
dude.
done enough
It's
for your
not.
country.
Lukaku looks horrible
Hmm.
purely because of his
Bro,
aesthetics. I
Yannick
think
Carrasco is still playing, bro. What the hell is going on?
it's really really. I don't know. This is
Like
and I think it's.
this is the golden generation is been gone. Like some of the
But the
names they're playing
other
washed.
thing here is France haven't looked too spectacular either to
That's
me.
true.
Like I know they get Mbappe back here. This will be his first game back from injury. I'm pretty sure that's what's been
He
good.
might have came on in that last game. I think he scored a pen. No,
Yeah. But
yeah,
like I'm saying, like start.
proper. Yeah,
Yeah, he'll be there. Um, obviously, France will look better with him, but
France are like getting the same sort of like struggles that I think England have been having, but like France have always seemed to just overcome that, and they have like a whole
because they're
10 years
pundit
of evidence of winning. So like you can't really put them
exactly.
in the same bracket. But
Yeah,
like similar things, there France's football has not been that like connected. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is there.
obviously there's little changes. You know,
Hmm.
Saliba's starting. Uh,
Conte's back in the team.
Conte's back. The front line's a little scattered now with Mbappe
Hmm.
out. I do want to say Dembele looks competent again, which is crazy. Like he hasn't looked nearly as
Yeah, I
bad
like
as he.
Barcola too.
Yeah,
Barcola's been nice.
he's probably one of the most direct players they have. He kind of just as soon as he gets the ball, just starts running at defenders. You can always appreciate a player like that. Yeah, so I think we're both picking France. Um, question here is: do we speculate and keep going, or do we save the rest?
I don't know because I mean, in 4 days, like the round of 16 will be done, and then
Yeah,
you're trying to like knock out another ep. Like, I don't know.
I think let's do it because it feels dumb if these are wrong and we continue that way. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like, so we'll hold off on the rest of the
yeah,
Euro predictions.
I'm fine with that.
Um, hopefully it pans out. I know before we started, you did send me some notes, and one of those things was to talk about Spain, right?
Hmm.
I didn't know. I mean, I obviously I saw the games, but I didn't clock the fact that they conceded 0 goals. We talk about how important defense is in
Hmm.
international football. Like, dude, they have probably the best midfield, which is crazy to say. I think you could have made a case for England. You definitely can make a case for France, but
Probably the best performing midfield so
yeah,
far.
in
If
terms of
that's like your point,
execution in the
yeah.
group stage, they've shown like this is it, and it's no wonder you have Rodri, you have Pedri.
They got
Doesn't
two
really
French
matter.
center backs,
Yeah,
Laporte and Lenormand. Lamond.
it's looking good for them. Um,
I think
are you?
all it took for Spain was just to bring in two wingers that could run.
Yeah,
Like the
Nico
last like
Williams.
two tournaments, they just had like midfielders there, and that like the Iniesta Xavi thing, sure that worked, but like Oyarzabal is not gonna win you a tournament.
Yeah.
You get two guys that can run, and like the whole team was like, "Yo, what the hell did we just discover?" It's not crazy.
And
Like those guys are
like
nuts. Lamine is crazy.
Lamine is
Lamine is crazy.
honestly like obviously we glazed him last time we were
Yeah.
here, but genuinely, bro, it's scary.
And
His
I
outlook.
hadn't even seen much of his club thing. I was just reading about him, like, oh, this kid's crazy. You know, I watched
I
that
would
one Champions
just
League game they got knocked out, and I was like, yeah, he's nice. But to see 3 games of him just cooking was crazy, or at least two was
Bro,
wild.
I would see some just his goals, but the thing I'm seeing here is like his overall play
Yeah, creating.
for a player as like creative as him. He's not very wasteful. Like a lot
Hmm.
of the stuff he tries comes off. He has a good sense for the game. He's like small, but I don't think he's a pushover. And he's
He
six
reminds me a
two.
little bit of Olise actually. I think they play kind of similar. I don't know
Fair.
if you see that. Just a bit of the way like left foot crosses and stuff like that. Maybe he's a bit
Yeah.
more quicker than Olise, but
I think
yeah,
he's faster. Yeah, and I
yeah.
think that's the one thing people would say about Elise is like a drawback. Like he's not the quickest winger, but
Hmm.
this kid is what like 6, 7 years younger and
Yeah.
has everything he has with pace. I pray to God Barca manage him properly because like they would be robbing football or something crazy if they did it. And like someone made a crazy like reference for his age. They said Lamine Yamal will be Bukayo Saka's age in 2030.
See that you have to go back to your other point you just made about praying that they manage him correctly, because I know you've been seeing the whole like Ansu Fati
It's a lot of
comparison.
football. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a lot of football being
if he
played.
gets to 2030 playing at this level, I mean that'd be crazy. But I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, you look at what they did with Pedri. You look at what they did with Gabi. It's like
Yeah,
way too much. So I hope they're learning, but I don't know. Barca aren't the most competent board. Um, Other things that we want to talk about, notably, dude, Croatia didn't make it to the round of 16. That dagger in the
you watched the
90.
last game, dude.
Yeah,
That
bro.
was heartbreaking, man. That was
It was
heartbreaking.
for me. It was like such like a hopeful moment when he misses the penalty in that
Hmm.
same possession they score, and then for that to happen, dude, it was like
Bro, and then they
I,
gave him the man of the match, and he's just
ah,
standing there like, poor
just
guy.
like in 2018 in that final, right?
Yeah,
He
dude.
gets smacked. They hand him the golden ball. It's
And
like
then like the journalist in the post match is saying, I hope you never retire, and getting emotional. I'm like, damn, bro. Like I
no,
mean, he's not done from club football yet.
Modric with Croatia is like obviously an amazing story, but it's like one of the biggest almost right in
Yeah.
history. Like, even though it wasn't like obviously like them beating France in that World Cup final would have been a long shot. That them ever winning
Hmm.
a Euros would have been a long shot. But I think if they had just like one other piece on top
Yeah.
of Modric and the crew, it could have been interesting. Reverting back to England for a second and the
Let's do it.
pundits, we're seeing a lot of interviews from the players, right? Like
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
they're hitting back. I don't know where they're getting enough time to do media. Like get in training and run. But my favorite response so far was from Kane. I think in the politest way possible, he said, "Yo, you guys are talking so much. What did you win?
Yeah.
Like, where is this experience you talk about coming from? The only thing you know how to do is lose. So, like, what are you, like, possibly
That was
trying to
for
explain?"
Lineker, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's jokes.
and it's like, dude, like, completely fair. I get the argument they're making, like, oh, we're seeing things that happen to us, and we want you
Hmm.
to avoid that. But it's like, you know what? You probably didn't have to deal with Lineker. Like 20,000 people on Twitter making fun of you every single game, right? So it's not wise. I can't go against it enough, but I'll leave it at
Dude,
that.
will
Unless you,
will England ever break this thing? Just like, oh, can we ever make it work with like the best players in all the big six clubs? Like, will they ever
I,
break out of this?
I don't think so because I don't know if any British people watch this. I think it's a trait of the British to just constantly be insufferable and complain. Like
Hmm.
I have you ever, besides when a team wins a trophy or like reaches the climax, seen an English fan take a moment and be grateful? It doesn't happen like ever. So like
Again,
even
it
for
goes back
club
to it
football.
just goes back to like the club fans being grateful for their own players.
Oh,
It's like,
it goes
oh,
back to Queen Victoria. Like
yeah.
this is in their blood. Like I don't know how to like, the fact that it's been two golden generations now that have had
Hmm.
to deal with this and they still haven't clocked it. I don't know. Like they
Dude, maybe
seem a
the solution
little
is this. Maybe we just stop bringing the big six guys. Maybe it's like Anthony Gordon, Ollie
Gibbs
Watkins,
White.
Jared Bowen. Just let them play. See if anything changes. Are the
Yeah.
personalities too big? Or is the egos? Is this too much?
No, because then as soon as anything happens, like, why didn't you bring the big six? No,
No,
no, no, no.
obviously
Obviously,
this would never happen. But like in this
yeah, yeah.
hypothetical, like what? I just want to know what is the mental block here that's holding them back? Is it like the punditry? Is it the comments people are
It
making?
has to be farce. Imagine if every day
Just log
before you,
off, bro. Just put your phone
I
away,
know,
dude.
but how do you log off from
And then they're doing
life?
interviews. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like imagine every day before you log on to work, you have to read everything about how garbage you are at your job.
No,
Like,
I felt bad for Gallagher, dude. They were posting on Instagram, like who post Skulls or someone on Instagram was like, "Why is Gallagher playing?" Basically, I'm like, bro, he's about to play in like 6 hours. How can you say that?
and I think a lot of people think they're criticizing the manager when they say things like, "Oh, why is this player playing instead of this
Yeah,
player?" But I don't know how you don't see that is definitely hurting the player you're talking about. Like they're not gonna be like, oh, so why didn't Southgate bench me? They want to be on that pitch. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Enough on them. Let's quickly dedicate like 5 minutes to Copa America. Truth be told, I'm not watching much of it. What I do know is Brazil.
You're missing out on like the dog fights, dude.
It's a dog fight out there.
You're missing out on the dog fights, bro. Stereotypes aside, it's been insane.
Argentina look like they're cruising. Venezuela, who I think you had going through, look like they're cruising. Uruguay.
I had Ecuador just for the Chelsea boys.
I know you had Ecuador and Venezuela instead of Mexico, and that's is what's about to happen. I think anyway. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, Brazil look like they're struggling. Interestingly, it seems like the USA will be knocked out based on what you said.
Very sad.
Yeah,
did you watch that game? Do you want the recap of what happened?
Yeah, give me it. Go ahead,
dude. 17th minute, Tim Weah, the right winger for U.S. men's national team, just like swings at some guy. Just swing it. Ball is like on the other side of the pitch. There's a little collision. Tim Weah throws a punch. Red card. 17th minute. In essentially a game where they literally need a point or more because they know Uruguay is gonna finish top and Panama will probably get 3 points. Then 18th minute, your boy, or not 18th, like a few minutes later, Balogun scores a banger.
Okay. I saw that goal. The post in. Right?
Yeah, that was nuts. 1-0, 10 men. And then from that point on, it's just a grind. Like they make their subs. They're like, okay, we're going to sit back. We're going to counter. We're going to let them have the ball. And for the most part, it's working. And then, of course, it works until it doesn't. Panama kind of squeeze one in. Heads drop. We get the 2-1 in like the 80th minute. And then from there, Panama gets a red card. And then, last couple of minutes, USA sends the keepers up. They try getting some shots in. It doesn't work. And now they're getting grouped. So good job, Tim Weah.
They're getting grouped, important to note, with Panama and Bolivia, dude. I mean, no disrespect to either of those nations, but the talk that we talk as fans of the U.S., it's really sad.
Grouped, if like Panama loses to Bolivia, they'll be fine, but that just won't happen. Or if Uruguay rests their starters and drop some points, still, I doubt it. If you need either Uruguay to rest their guys and lose to the States, or you need Panama to somehow lose to Bolivia, who hasn't even scored a goal yet. So it's looking tough.
I always believe you got to just do your part and not count on anything else happening. I think that is something I didn't consider. Uruguay could definitely rest some guys because there's really no need, especially to go hard in their hardest game on paper when the job's already done. But who knows?
Yeah. Hope for the best. I do want to see them. But the thing is, like, they go through and then they're either facing Colombia or Brazil. So it might be like a quick exit anyways.
Yeah, maybe save yourself the 5-6-0. I mean, I don't know. Brazil, that I watched game one.
It wasn't much.
Was bad. Yeah.
It was dull.
It was very dull.
I was reading, there's like a lot of controversy because like they made Danilo the captain. And then Ronaldinho and R9 come out saying, like, I lost the love for the game. I don't want to watch Brazil anymore.
Yeah, I remember that.
Danilo made captain is kind of crazy. Like, this guy's a bum.
I think there has been a shift, at least from when we were growing up, and the best player on the team was always a captain, to now where it's like, like a Udonis Haslam, some old geezer who, drops a quote here and there. But I don't know. Like, I really got to lock in, watch more of these games, speak to a bit more.
No, it's just funnier, dude. Like, Neymar was at one of the games, and then they interviewed him, and he was like, Vinicius is one of the ugliest players I know.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. I'm like, why? And there was zero hesitation, bro. Like, the question was asked, and like half a second later, he had the answer loaded. He's been thinking about that for a minute.
And he's like reacting to the subs, like, why did you just take him off? Why'd you bring? Like, it's just funny. I don't know. It's just hilarious.
And I heard Martinelli's not playing, so like, figures why they're not doing too good. But we'll do a better job in keeping up with that. Colombia is currently 3-0 up against Costa Rica. They were 1-0 up when we started this episode. They're delivering on the strength I think we expected. So are Argentina. I think the one ugly duckling so far has been Brazil, but hopefully they turn around against Paraguay. Thank you guys for watching. That is it for our quick little, little mini
What's happened?
catch up. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next time.